As an international student, getting your resume noticed in the US job market can feel like an uphill battle. You might be doing everything you think is right, but some of the advice you've heard could actually be holding you back. Here is something that might surprise you. Recruiters spend just 6 to 7 seconds scanning the resume before deciding if it goes in the yes pile or the no pile. That's all the time you have to make an impression, so every word and detail on your resume really matters. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the top 5 resume mistakes that I see international students making over and over. The good news is that these are easy to fix and can make a huge difference in how recruiters see you. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly what to change to make your resume stand out. Plus, I've created a resume template specifically designed for international students, which I'm going to tell you later about in the video. But for now, let's dive into the first mistake. Now, one of the most common mistakes international students make is including hobbies and personal interests on their resume. I get it, you might think that sharing things like playing guitar or traveling helps show off your personality. But here's the truth, US employers care more about how you fit the role than your personal interest. In some countries, adding hobbies to your resume is a common way to give potential employers a sense of who you are outside of work. But in the US, that real estate on your resume is precious, and recruiters are much more interested in the skills and achievements that show how you will contribute to their team. Think about it, if you are applying for a software engineering job, your hiking adventures probably won't sway a recruiter's decision. What they care about is whether you have the technical know-how and problem-solving skills for the role. Now, there is a rare exception, which is if your hobby demonstrates leadership or teamwork, like organizing a coding club or leading a volunteer project. That might be worth mentioning on your resume. But random hobbies like cooking or playing video games, not so much. By focusing on what really matters, like your experience, skills, and achievements, you're more likely to impress a hiring manager. So bottom line, keep it relevant, keep it focused, and you will stand out for the right reasons. All right, let's dive into another big one, which is focusing on responsibilities instead of impact. I know it can be easy to just list what you were responsible for on your resume, saying things like responsible for managing project or handled customer inquiries. But here's the thing, recruiters don't just want to know what you did. They want to know how you made a difference. When they see a bullet point on your resume like manage the team, they're thinking, okay, but what did you actually achieve? Did you improve efficiency, cut costs, or lead your team to a big win? So what's the solution here? Well, it's all about outcomes. Let's break this down with an example based on different majors. For an engineering student, instead of saying responsible for testing software, you could say stuff like led a team to identify and resolve 95% of bugs, improving system performance by 20%. And for a business student, instead of saying managed a team of interns, you can say managed 5 interns, increasing project delivery efficiency by 15%. And for a liberal arts student, rather than saying assisted with research, you can go with conducted research that led to publication in a competitive academic conference. Do you see the difference there? You're not just saying what you did, instead you're showing how your work created results. Now, depending on your cultural background, this style of writing can feel like bragging. But let me tell you this, in the US job market, this is not bragging. It's about showing recruiters the value you bring to the table. And you're also not lying nor exaggerating, you're simply telling the truth about what you achieved. To really drive home the impact of your accomplishments, make sure to use strong verbs that make your bullet points pop, with words like led, increased, reduced, implemented, or developed. These words show initiative and action, and that's what recruiters want to see. Okay, let's talk about something that might seem pretty normal in some countries, but is a definite no-go on a US resume, which is including your photograph. Now, I get it. In many places, adding a professional photo to your resume is a standard practice. You might want to show who you are, put a face to your name, and maybe even look more approachable. But in the US, this can be a big red flag for recruiters. You see, US companies are very strict about avoiding any form of discrimination during the hiring process, whether it's based on race, age, gender, or anything else. So when a recruiter sees a photo on your resume, it can make them somewhat uncomfortable. They don't want to risk making biased decisions, even unintentionally. In addition to this point, many companies use applicant tracking systems, or ATS for short, to screen resumes, and including a photo can actually mess up how these systems read your resume. So what is the best practice? Well, keep it professional and stick to the basics, which is just your name, your contact information, and maybe a LinkedIn profile if you have one, but no photos needed at all on your resume. And no, it's not about trying to hide who you are, it's about following the professional standards here in the US. Employers care about what you can do, not so much how you look, and so the only thing your resume should be showing off is your skills, achievements, and experience. And hey, if you want to show a bit of your personality, that's where your LinkedIn profile comes in. You can have a professional headshot there, and recruiters will look it up if they want to know more about you. All right, let's get into another big one, which is providing too much information on your resume. Now, you probably want to show that you've done a lot, you've worked hard to get where you are, and it's tempting to pack everything into your resume. But here's the thing, recruiters don't want to read your life story, they're only looking for your highlight. And when you add too much information on your resume, especially stuff that's not directly related to the job you're applying for, it can actually work against you. You see, recruiters usually spend only a few seconds on each resume, and if they're bombarded with irrelevant details or a resume that's too long, they're likely to skip over the important parts, or even worse, move on to the next candidate. So how do you fix this? The key is to keep it concise and focused. Your resume should be one page, especially if you're just starting out or you have limited professional work experience, which is the case with the vast majority of college students. And it should only include the most relevant information for the job you're applying to. Always ask yourself, does this experience help tell my story as the best fit for this role? And if you keep asking yourself that question when writing your resume, you will be much more likely to catch a recruiter's eye. Another really common mistake that might seem trivial but can actually be a big deal is using overly designed or complex resume template. Now, for sure, you want your resume to stand out, and you might think that a flashy design with cool graphics will help you do that. But here's the thing, in the US, resumes are all about content over design. The goal isn't to impress recruiters with fancy colors or creative layouts, it's to make it easy for them to see your experience, your skills, and achievements as quickly as possible. And here's where this can backfire. As I pointed out earlier, many US companies use applicant tracking systems or ATS to screen resumes. These systems aren't designed to handle complex layouts or images. So if your resume is full of graphics, columns, or unusual fonts, there's a good chance that the system won't read it properly. And your resume could be rejected way before it even reaches a human eye. And even if your resume makes it past the ATS, recruiters don't want to be distracted by a complicated resume design when assessing your qualifications. They're way too busy, and they need to be able to scan your resume quickly and easily. So what is the solution? Well, we're going to keep it clean and simple by sticking to a straightforward format with clear headings, bullet points, and standard font. Your resume should focus on what really matters, which is your achievement, your skills, and experience. And your choice of design should help tell your story and not distract from it. Now, if you're wondering how to achieve that balance between simplicity and professionalism, I've got a solution for you. I've seen a lot of resumes from international students over the years, and I've helped plenty of students just like you navigate the US job market and land great job positions. One thing I've noticed is how many resumes miss the mark because of overly complex designs or too much irrelevant information. That's exactly why I created a resume template designed specifically for international students. Based on all the bad resumes I've seen and from my own experience successfully job hunting as a professional. This template has been used by students I've coached to land jobs in the US, and is built to help you do the same, simple, effective, and very ATS friendly. If you're ready to take your resume to the next level, you can download it by clicking the link in the description section below. This could be the tool that gets your resume noticed for all the right reasons. And when you're done grabbing your resume, check out this next video where we'll be breaking down some of the biggest career hunting mistakes international students make, and more importantly, how to avoid making these mistakes. You definitely do not want to miss this. So I'll see you on the next video.